After spending nearly 20 years in the prison system and several years addicted to drugs, Susan Burton finally found help for her addiction. She was able to change her life as well as the lives of other women with similar struggles. Her memoir, Becoming Ms Burton, From Prison to Recovery to Leading the Fight for Incarcerated Women, was released last month. In the book, Burton reveals the damaging effects of mass incarceration on women, children, and families. In the New York Times, they did a piece on her. She has been called the Harriet Tubman on this issue. She, again, is the author of the book and also is the founder of a New Way of Life Reentry Project. She joins us right now, NewsOne Now on TV One. Susan, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Glad to have you on the show. This is a lot of people talking about this book, rave reviews, and we often spend time talking about black men in prison.
Yes.
But significant numbers when you talk about what's happening, going from suspension rates of black girls all the way through the prison system.
Yes. Yeah. We talk about children. We talk about young men. We talk about men. We talk about men and boys in color. But we're not talking about the mass incarceration of women. And women are the fastest growing segment of the prison population. And I'm like, what, we not worth the conversation? We're not worth research? You know, what's going on here? So I'm raising the voice, raising the exposure to the experience of the mass incarceration of women through my memoir, Becoming Ms Burton, which is not just a memoir. It talks about the social structures in which this happens, continues to happen, and especially to the African-American woman, to the black woman.
Now, you don't pull any punches in terms of sharing your experiences of what you witnessed, what you saw.
No, I thought it was really important to be totally honest, transparent, and revealing as to what happened throughout my life and what my family, what my community, what my state's response to it, what this country's response to it was. So I don't pull any punches.
How do you respond when you see an Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, Donald Trump, who wants, well, I guess that answers it right there.
Oh my God.
Go right ahead.
You know, I can't imagine we as a nation allowing them to set us back light years, not forward, but backwards. We've already, we've seen, and the research shows that, you know, where they're going is just detrimental to this country's greatness. And Jeff Sessions talking about rolling back all of the progress we've made on drug sentencing, and, you know, I mean, that's horrible. A policeman killed my 5-year-old son. I drank. It escalated to drug use. I got in prison for the drug use. While there's no trauma services, no therapy services, no group service, no services in my community for me to access. What there was infiltration of illegal drugs like the plague that came in and wiped our community out. So I took that and I got imprisoned. You know, the police officer, he probably got a whole bunch of police services. Me, a black woman in the community that has lost my 5-year-old son, and a department that doesn't even come and say, Ms. Burton, I'm sorry. I drank, I used, I got put in chains. I worked in prison for 8 cents an hour. And then I got pushed back out into the community and said, go make it. So I'm here today only because someone helped me. And I've written this book just to tell America, you know, what's going on and what it's like. And for Jeff Sessions to come along and say, this is what we're gonna do, when we know other ways of addressing this is more effective and less costly. That's my piece.
It's interesting to hear you. One, thanks for telling your story and for the courage that you're using to speak for so many who have been in similar circumstances. One of the things I would just love to hear from you is, and you kind of hit on this, is about the process of rehabilitation. So often prison is used to punish,
Yes.
but not to rehabilitate. And you kind of spoke to your own rehabilitation. What are you doing now to help rehabilitate women who have been similarly situated?
Yeah. So I created a new way of life from my personal resources after leaving rehab and after working. So to date, in South LA, little community, over 1,000 women I've helped to come through our homes. We have 5 homes now. We have pro bono legal services to help the broader community and the women in our homes. But I don't think it's so much about rehabilitation as it is about providing people an opportunity.
Yeah.
To become, to know themselves, to have the opportunity that their lives can excel, that their lives can begin to thrive instead of just surviving stuff in the community. So, there's the piece about rehabilitation, but I think it's about opportunity.
Kim?
Yep, I'm so, first of all, thank you for sharing your story. My full-time job is an executive director of a nonprofit in Baltimore City where we help women in transition. So what we do is we actually take donated clothing, sell it on eBay, and with those funds we provide career wear for women coming into re-entering society and the workforce. So what you're sharing here really hits home, because there isn't any really rehabilitation programs for women coming out of prison. You hear a lot about men, and that's why we help women directly, because you don't hear about it. We work with Martha's Place, and like you said, you get 6 months. When you are out of incarceration, you get 6 months at Martha's Place to basically put your life back together, to be able to get a job, be able to pay rent somewhere, and go on about your life. Otherwise, you're kicked out of many places, and then you're dealing with homelessness. So thank you so much for sharing your story, because this really hits home.
Thank you. I have to, 6 months is a nice amount of time, I guess. But, at a new way of life, we don't put a structured time on when somebody is ready to leave.
That's beautiful.
What we do is we support them until everything's in place, that they are ready to leave and they won't recidivate and they won't go back. They have enough resources, supports, and stability that they that they're able to continue. Many times, funding drives the amount of time that you work with a person. So in the book, it talks about, I told them, I don't keep your money. This money is not conducive to really providing the type of opportunity the women at a new way of life need.
A peaceful protest turned deadly. 37-year-old black man was shot and killed by Baton Rouge police. His hands are in the air, and you still get shot by the cops.
Oh my God, please don't tell me he's dead.
We're not gonna let hate define us.
Race is a big part of this.
If truly all lives matter, then all lives need to matter equally.
What we require is action. What we require is accountability. We understand that black lives do matter, and we will keep focused on this issue.
NewsOne Now, every weekday morning at 7 on TV1.